Hello, this is Doris Sander, and today I am working my bullet journal, trying to get September set up because I'm behind. But I had several people ask me about the distress stains that I use and how I use them. So I thought I would try again to share a little bit of that process. I say again because I actually tried to record a video doing it a couple weeks ago and it was an epic fail, but I'm going to try one more time and just do more of the explaining and less of the actual on camera, but still enough on camera that you can see the process, hopefully. So this is my monthly calendar and I like to do this quilted look. So my first step is to actually put these little pencil dots in. So I've already gone in, I marked all my pencil dots. All of these little corners were pencil dotted, just like this. So my calendar squares measure 6 spaces this way and 5 this way, with 1 space in between each square. And I started 3 squares down from the top, and then just the bottom is just left over, whatever was left over. And this space I'll show you at the end. I just use it for forward planning because the dimensions left over space, so I needed to use something with it. And then I just put notes down here. I'll show you that at the end. I did want to mention that I really hate to have a square in the gutter, so that's why I chose the measurements that I did. And this square goes, my lines go all the way to the gutter to make 6 across, and then I just don't bother making the black line here. Can you see that? I don't even bother with that because you can't really tell. It looks fine. It would not show up if, I mean, it would just not be worth your effort. So that's what I do there. And to make the, usually when I'm doing with the distress stains, I just use pencil first and then the distress stains, and then I go back and put the ink because I'm just paranoid about smudging. But for the calendar, I've just found it's easier to do the ink first, and not the ink, the ink, the pen ink first. It's easier to put my pen down first and then do the distress stains. It's just easier. But so for that, I make sure I use a permanent pen and not my normal just black pen. So I have these microns. The 3 and the 5 are fine. I use those sometimes. And then I have this Faber-Castell Pitt pen in small. These have more or less similar nibs. And I have found that I kind of prefer the micron. It's just a slightly bit juicier, but there's really not that much difference between the two. But I'm trying to use up the Faber-Castell pens so that I have just less pens in my bag. So I was using that one today. And then I have this clear, I believe it's a quilting ruler. I've had it for years. It's scrapbooking. I guess that's where it came from originally. But I do believe it's labeled as a quilting ruler. So, let me make sure I stay in frame here. And this was the part that was the problem before. The angle of my setup is not conducive to watching me use my pen on camera. And I haven't really figured out how to fix that. So yeah, if I was doing the whole thing for you, I would either, it doesn't matter if you start horizontally or vertically, but I would just slide down and do all of the lines one way and then do all of them the other way. And you can see I did a boo-boo right there. That happens to me quite often because I just get in the groove and don't pay attention. But, you know, it's not all that noticeable. I don't think. It's fine. It's just 1 month. And then I'll try again for perfection next month. And, you know, if you don't get all the way, you can just go in and color in the spot you missed. And then when I get all my lines drawn, I go back and erase the pencil dots. You probably don't have to. They probably don't really show up, but I do because details, you know. And you can use the pencil eraser, it's fine, but I like these white erasers. They're gentler and more effective at the same time. So I like having those. So then after I got all of my lines drawn, I went in with my Distress Stains just in a sequential pattern. And these are the colors that I've picked out for September, my color palette. And you'll notice there are 7 here, but on my calendar I only use 6. And that is because there's 7 across, right, for 7 days. And if you used 7 colors across, your colors would line up vertically. So, you know, all your purples would be in a row and all your blues would be in a row, and yellow, you know. So, I mean, if that's the look you want, that's fine, but I want the quilted look. So I chose 6 colors so that they stagger diagonally. And when I'm working on it, I'm careful to leave them in the row, in the sequence that I'm using them, so that I don't make mistakes, because I've already mentioned that I get in a groove and just it's easy to make mistakes because you're not really thinking, you're just doing. So let's not make a mistake here. The last one I used was Milled Lavender. So that was at the end of the line. So I'm going to go back to the beginning and use the Weathered Wood. And I am not very concerned about staying in the lines or even filling up the entire box all the way. I'm just, you know, I like this kind of organic look. So you just keep grabbing them, and if it's not coming out well, you just tap it a little. They tend to, the tip gets a little dry, and you have to keep it flowing. So that one was a little messier than I'd like, but you know, that's okay. And as you work with them, you'll notice as you get a collection, they act differently. Like these two, it's not just that they're darker, they come out wetter than some of the others. Like this one actually comes out pretty wet too, but it's very pale, so it's hard to see. But like I have a couple of blues that, like this one is drier, if you notice. So you just tap it a little to get it going again. And just tap it as often as you need to. But I have a couple of blues that they just are really a lot drier. And so you have to tap them. Like this yellow's kind of drier too. You just kind of get a feel for each color as you go. And like I have a red one that comes out like you've cut your aorta. It's gushes, so you gotta be careful with that one. So I got that, and then this one is kind of just whatever color we want. So let's go with, I don't know. Decisions. Maybe I'm gonna do Milled Lavender. So just tap it to get it going and spread it on. So there's that, and I've actually left my lids in order too, so that I can, it's not that big of a deal, but there is a little bit of dye on the interior, and you know, it can transfer. And a lot of times when I'm doing stuff where I'm layering the inks, I try to use the lighter colors first so that I don't get dark stains on the lighter tips. Like here, there was overlapping with the yellows and with the blue and gray here, and so, well, yellow doesn't really matter because they're both yellows, but I did do the lighter color first and then the darker ones. Just another tip. So I've got this down, and now I'm going to go in and add my dates with the same pen. And to do that, let me double check. I don't want any mistakes. The first was on a Thursday, Saturday, Friday, Thursday. So for this, I don't use the ruler, I just draw it in and put the number. So I'm going to do that off camera, and then I will be back to add the title and notes. Okay, so I got all my dates in, and I did want to mention that this was really dry before I wrote the dates in, and this was dry by the time I got there. These stains dry really quickly. It just takes a minute or two, but I don't like to write on them when they're wet. I always try to wait till they're pretty dry, but they do dry fast. And I also wanted to mention that I put my title wherever it's handy. So like the way September fell, it worked to have the title at the top, but when I was doing August, there it is. See, August was at the bottom, and I had an empty space here, and I have an empty space here. So that's how it looks. So now I'm going to work on my title, and if you notice with August, I just wrote it with a fat pen, and that was fine. But after I wrote it, then I had this brilliant idea. So I've been waiting all month to try it out. So what I'm going to do is, I'm making it a lot bigger, you see, and I wrote it in pencil first. And now I'm going to go back in and outline my pencil marks. And I will show you that. I'm so sorry, but I can't do it on camera. I'll be right back. Okay, so I essentially just went in with the pencil again and just rewrote the word, but staggered so that I can color it in. And I'm going to color it in with the medium tip. It's fatter, so it'll go faster, but I'll still have some control. I was thinking about using the brush tip, but I think it's just too fine. It won't work out well. So I will be right back. So there you go. I colored it in. I did leave this one here at the end so you could see what I had done. I just went over my pencil lines and then colored it in. Let me see if I can color it in on camera. Maybe not. Yeah, it's not too bad. And then if you have any stray pencil lines, you can go back and erase them. I wouldn't erase right here immediately because even though this is permanent ink, it can smudge when it's just been put on the page. There aren't really any stray lines. Oh, there's one there. I mean, you can't really see them. I mean, it's gray ink and gray pencil. I'm being picky. So that was that. And then over here, I always just write forward. And you can see what I don't like about these pens. It skipped there. They're just a little bit drier than the Microns. Like that. Maybe color in my little arrow tip. And then I just, as the month goes on, any October dates that come up, I'll just jot them down there so that when the next month comes, I can just flip back and see any extra dates. I'll look here, and also at all my dates that I knew about ahead of time are here. So I'll look at both those places and anywhere else I can think of. And then here I just write notes. And last month I didn't really have any notes, but that's okay. So there you go. There's my September layout, and I hope that was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I would be happy to try to answer them. And I'll chat with you soon. Bye.